they are fixing the elections in Texas. But that does not mean that California should fix the elections because of that. Two wrongs don't make a right.
You don't buy what Governor Newsom's saying?
Of course not. Look, I've sat there in Sacramento. I've listened to the politicians for 7 years. They are not interested in giving any power to the people. The only interest that they have is to take power away from the people and grab it themselves. So this gives them a great opportunity by saying, oh, we have to fight Trump. Let's go and get...
Arnold Schwarzenegger just dropped a political dumbbell right on Gavin Newsom's head, and honestly California hasn't been this entertained since the last blackout. The Terminator seems to have traded flexing muscles for flexing opinions, and let's just say Newsom probably wishes Judgment Day had stayed on the big screen. Buckle up, because when the Governator calls you out, it's not a debate, it's a full-blown cinematic roast loaded with protein shakes and pure chaos.
You know, it's like there's some challenges all over the world. Los Angeles has its challenges. And I hope they solve the challenges very quickly, and that the federal government and the state and the locals all can work together in solving those problems.
I'm sure you're glad you don't have to be a decision maker anymore, or do you wish you were?
I would be more than happy to make those decisions.
Before we go any further, hit that like button and subscribe, because you definitely don't want to miss this one. California might need a new state anthem after this, because Arnold Schwarzenegger just remixed the political playlist. Apparently the guy who once battled killer robots is now taking on modern bureaucracy, and somehow Gavin Newsom ended up as the final boss. You know things are out of control when the Terminator looks at California and says it'll be back, but only after the taxes chill out.
What's your view in terms of what should happen nationwide when it comes to redistricting?
Well, first of all, in California, it's a big mistake to go and to dismantle and to basically kind of get rid of the independent redistricting commission under the auspices of we got to have more power than the Republicans and we got to fight Trump.
Poetic, really, the Hollywood action hero turned governor turned global eco-warrior going after the guy who styles his hair like it's campaigning for office. You could practically smell the ego in the air, a mix of cologne ambition and shattered policy promises.
I got much further when I was governor by working together with the Democrats, by letting them know they're not the enemy, that I am a strong believer that if we want to go and make California successful or America successful, we can do this the best possible way by having Democrats and Republicans work.
Arnold didn't just call out Gavin. This was a full-blown cinematic performance, the kind of dramatic moment where you almost expect him to light a cigar, lean back, and tell California it needs more muscle and less red tape when the former governor who once ran the state on charm and protein shakes decides to school the current one. You know the drama is juicier than a Hollywood reboot.
It is about the United States of America. He doesn't believe in that. He believes in the red states. He's going after, it's a war. He's a wartime president. He's the head of a war party. War on women, war on voting rights, war on Hispanics. A war on this state, war on institutions, war on history. I mean, this is serious. This guy's trying to get a Nobel Peace Prize. That's what he's going to try to say tomorrow in Alaska, that he's the big guy trying to find peace, really? When he's bringing war to the American...
Because Gavin Newsom isn't just a politician anymore, he's a full-blown brand. His hair has more stability than the state's economy, and his speeches sound like TED Talks scripted by a PR team paid in almond milk. Yet somehow Arnold is the one bringing the fire, calling out the mess in the same state he once led like a gym coach with executive authority.
To fight for democracy and to get rid of your democratic principles. It doesn't make any sense. Nothing against Newsom. We don't have a fight over this at all.
Yeah, because you guys met. What was that like when you guys met together?
It was a wonderful meeting. He told me what he felt. I told him, I said, I totally get it, because this is what you need to do to be the leader of the party. I totally get it, but I'm not a party person, I said. I'm a people's person. I always will fight for the power of the...
The funniest part is Arnold probably didn't even mean to start an earthquake. He probably just tossed out a casual comment about California's leadership problems, and suddenly Sacramento is shaking harder than a 9.0. The guy sneezes, and political analysts treat it like divine prophecy. You could practically feel the collective eye roll from across the Pacific. The California governor, who spends half his time insisting everything's fine, suddenly got roasted by the only man who can make Climate change sound like a blockbuster pitch, you know it's getting awkward when even Hollywood is like, wait, whose side are we on? One is all about raw power, the other preaches calm balance, and both think they're saving the state. The timing honestly couldn't have been funnier.
Lastly, Brad, what's Arnie the Terminator up to in California?
So he's upset now about gerrymandering in California and in Texas. There's basically this big back and forth that's going on where in Texas, Republicans are planning on doing mid-decade gerrymandering, which is redrawing the legislative districts to give yourself more seats in Congress by kind of choosing your voters. This is something Democrats have historically been against and wanted to ban, but now they're saying they will do it too in response.
Newsom has been strutting around as the golden boy of progressive politics, flirting with national ambitions, and then bam, Arnold drops a verbal dumbbell right on his jawline. It's like California's karma showed up wearing sunglasses and a leather jacket. Arnold's whole attitude was basically, look, when I ran this place, sure there was chaos, but at least people could still afford rent. Newsom is probably wishing for an invisibility cloak right about now, maybe something eco-friendly made from recycled scandals. And of course the internet went absolutely crazy. Twitter, sorry, X, exploded. Half the users were cheering Arnold's boldness, while the other half were defending Newsom like he's California's last avocado tree. Political memes multiplied faster than housing costs, and somewhere Elon Musk was probably dropping popcorn emojis in the comments. Both versions are hilariously cinematic. One feels like an action movie, the other like a documentary insisting everything is fine while the lights keep flickering.
Arnold is out here criticizing Trump and Gavin Newsom for doing it. I'm not sure he'll be able to actually do anything about it. It's kind of baked into our political system, but things are fine. Things are going amazing here. We're just kind of in a perpetual race to the bottom of who can take the shadiest step next to kind of rig the political system in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, do we expect anything else from the pin-up boy for stupidity, Newsom? No.
Arnold's criticism wasn't just political, it was personal. You could tell he's still emotionally tied to the state. It felt like watching someone drive past their old mansion and seeing it crumble under new management. He probably tried to stay quiet, but there's only so much chaos you can witness before the inner Terminator takes over. Newsom, of course, acted like he didn't care because that's the California playbook: smile, deflect, and start talking about innovation, but you know deep down he's furious. Getting called out publicly by Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't something you just shrug off. It's like being roasted by a legend who held the same office and somehow made it look enjoyable. And Arnold is anything but subtle. He doesn't whisper his critiques, he drops them like weight plates. His idea of diplomacy is all about strength, discipline, and maybe a light reminder about crushing your enemies. One is built like a tank, the other like a sleek electric car, and you can guess which one Californians feel stuck with when the power grid gives out.
Even Arnold Schwarzenegger is against what Gavin Newsom is doing in California. And that should tell you something. Here's what's going on in California if you don't know. Gavin Newsom is pushing a plan that would weaken the state's independent redistricting commission. The commission was created to make sure that election maps are fair. No political party rigging the lines. But Newsom's proposal could give more control back to the politicians. And that's where Arnold comes in. Remember, Schwarzenegger is a Republican, but he's not necessarily a Trump guy. Yet even Arnold Schwarzenegger says this move by Newsom is...
Newsom, no, but let's be real. Arnold calling out Newsom is also Arnold calling out himself, because he helped create this whole circus. He's basically the founding father of California celebrity politics. Without him, Newsom might still be practicing speeches in front of a mirror. It's a full circle moment. The mentor turned critic, the original showman, scolding his successor for forgetting his lines. The irony is thicker than a protein shake. The state that turned politics into an entertainment franchise is now watching its past and present battle for top billing. It's like the Expendables Sacramento edition, and what better way for Arnold to step back into the spotlight than by taking a swing at the current king of California? Cool. Meanwhile, Newsom is probably pacing in front of his mirror rehearsing a comeback. But how do you clap back at someone whose entire existence is already a meme? You can't out-cool Arnold, you can't out-fame him. All you can do is hope the next wildfire flood or tech scandal distracts everyone before your approval ratings melt faster than ice cream in La Heat.
Now, this movie star and former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger is preparing to battle Governor Newsom over Newsom's redistricting efforts. Ashley, explain to us how Schwarzenegger is planning to fight against Newsom.
He's back. The former governor of California, he's back. He has a beef with the current governor, and he says democracy is at stake. Schwarzenegger is angry with Newsom for planning to redistrict California, who are doing that in response to the same.
Arnold's criticism landed because it came from experience. He knows how tough it is to manage California's chaos, but he also knows when someone is making it harder than it has to be. His unspoken message was simple: stop treating this state like a philosophy project. Sometimes you just need to fix the damn potholes. It's a brutally honest point. Californians don't want TED Talks about renewable energy while their cars are disappearing into sinkholes. They want leadership that actually leads, not someone who just looks good on magazine covers. And that's why Arnold's jab hurts. He's not just mocking policies, he's calling out the entire style of modern politics, where leaders pose like models, talk like life coaches, but still can't keep the lights on. That's the secret sauce, the mix of sincerity and absurdity that made him iconic. You can practically hear him saying, "When I was governor, we lifted California up literally," and somehow you'd believe it, because even when Arnold exaggerates, it sounds more genuine than half the things modern politicians say.
But, Christian, you're in California. I have a lot of people here in Australia talking to me about Gavin Newsom, asking what I think about him. And I feel like this is one of those moments that's very revealing about the guy's character. I mean, if he's going to be so petty about this, is everything just going to be this political fight, turning everybody into either friends or enemies?
Yeah, it's a bad look for sure. And it's something he shouldn't really be engaging with. He should just honor the ex-governor, who's obviously a huge movie star and a pop culture icon, and just leave it there. I mean, I think that's magnanimous. I think it's what people want.
The media, of course, ate it up. Headlines everywhere, commentators breaking it down like it was a heavyweight fight. One camp calling Arnold bold, the other calling him outdated. Meanwhile, the rest of America just watched in confusion, wondering why California keeps turning politics into a Netflix drama. Arnold's move also exposed something deeper: the state's ongoing identity crisis. California wants to be the moral compass, the climate hero, the tech utopia, but it still can't figure out how to keep gas under $7 a gallon. And Arnold basically said what everyone else has been thinking: maybe stop trying to save the planet and start fixing California first. That mix of brutal honesty and flair is what makes him impossible to predict. You can never tell if he's campaigning or trolling, but no chart or study hits harder than a one-liner from the Terminator: facts fade, charisma lasts forever. And in that arena, Arnold is still undefeated. The tension between him and Newsom perfectly captures the bigger issue: the battle between image and substance. California has perfected the look of success while quietly cracking underneath, and Arnold just had the guts to call it out loud with enough swagger to make it go viral.
And when Arnold speaks, people listen. He literally said that trying to mess with this commission is dangerous for democracy. By the way, we don't live in a democracy, we live in a constitutional republic. Think about that for a second. It's not just Republicans that are criticizing this. Arnold has worked across party lines before, so if even he is against it, it's got to be a big deal. At the end of the day, fair maps mean fair elections. And nobody should be afraid of fairness, but I think Gavin Newsom is. That's why Arnold Schwarzenegger is calling out Gavin Newsom's plan. Because once you let politicians draw their own lines, the people lose. I agree with Arnold, and I disagree with Gavin Newsom. What do you think?
Somewhere in all the chaos, you can almost hear the collective sigh of Californians who are just done with polished incompetence. Arnold ended up becoming their unfiltered voice, the guy saying what everyone else's PR teams would never let them say. But make no mistake, he's not just some retired celebrity ranting. This is strategic. Every line, every headline is part of the Arnold legacy project. He's reminding people that while the new guard tweets about progress, the old guard actually got things done. Even if that meant budget cuts and a few questionable movie cameos, still you can't help but laugh at the whole scene. Two rich photogenic men arguing over who loves California more. It's like a beauty contest for politicians who refuse to age gracefully. One has the tan and the perfect smile, the other has the muscles and the memories. And the more you think about it, the funnier it gets. A man who built his career pretending to save the world now calling out another man for pretending to save the state. It's hypocrisy in 4K, and it's absolutely glorious.